Welcome. We are going to discuss the real experiences from top solution partners, and as you can see, we've gathered quite a few. I'm a partner growth manager at Divinity and also an ACE champion for this cloud-focused chapter. And I'll be running today's session with Kasia Dorosz-Żurkowska and Ola Kłonowska-Drozd, both ACE champions with this chapter. And Kasia is also joining us as one of today's panelists. And Ola is supporting behind the scenes and also keeping an eye on the chat and making sure everything runs smoothly. As always, thank you for that. And today we chose the topic because cloud migration is no longer something on the roadmap for us. It's happening right now, and I would love to learn whether you are at the very beginning, just concerning and exploring, or maybe some of you are already preparing the decisions, or maybe you're right in the middle. So these are the three options I wanted to see which of the options you are experiencing now. If you could put it in the chat as well, I will be very grateful. And well, as we know, there is no single journey. There are many perspectives, and today we are going to focus on the European perspective brought to you by Adaptavist, by Comunardo, by Atlassian himself and Divinity. So we brought the panelists from the different angle and the cloud migration across the full journey. So from the sales perspective, presented by Pascal Wiedmann, who is our strategic, not our, but Adaptavist, strategic account executive at Adaptavist, focusing on the DACH region. And I hear you've got a very extensive experience. So you can just say the number, how many years you've been in the ecosystem?
10 years. I've been here for 10 years. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Okay, so much longer than I am. And we've got Katarzyna Dorosz-Żurkowska, as I mentioned. She's also our panelist for today. And she's not only an ACE champion, she's also a head of Atlassian services at Divinity. And she's going to bring a leadership perspective. And Kasia, can you just tell us how many years you've been in the ecosystem?
I'm trying to count them, but more than 10 even.
More than 10. You just look so young. You could just be 3 years in the ecosystem, as I can judge. All right.
I'm still 18, you know, especially in my mind.
Yeah. Okay, and Christopher Leitner, the managing director at Comunardo Austria, who's going to present his enterprise perspective. Or obviously, Kasia also has the enterprise perspective. Christopher, can you say the number?
Yeah, it's more than 20 years, so I've been using Atlassian tools for quite some time.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we are raising the stakes here. And we've got also the operations perspective coming from Atlassian himself. I mean, Łukasz Halicki representing Atlassian. And Łukasz is a senior engineering manager at Atlassian, supporting us in different ways throughout our journey at Divinity. So thank you for joining us once again during this event. And well, as you can see, Łukasz, I didn't ask you about the experience you've got.
Yes, so yeah. I won't be able to beat Christoph, but my experience with Atlassian tools is 16 years. Within Atlassian internally, 4 years.
All right. Okay, so we can just combine the two, and we can say that there's the combined experience over 50 years altogether, let's say, at least. So we can see there's a lot of stories behind those years and a lot of perspectives from the customer conversations through leadership decisions, enterprise execution, all the way to operational reality. And if something resonates with you, I mean, you, the viewers, and if something raises a question, you can drop your questions anytime in the chat because we've got one more Atlassian supporting us in the background. Konrad Gałczyński, if you are here, thank you for being here and thank you for watching the chat with Ola. And if you have any question, you can bring them to the chat because we will have a Q&A session, and the event is being recorded for you, so you can watch it later if you wish. So let's get into it and start with the opening round questions. So the question is, what is something you learned the hard way in the context of DC to cloud transitions and that you wish more people should know about? So you can feel free to go beyond the obvious statements. I'm really curious what you actually see in the real projects. So let's start with Kasia. Kasia, could you take over?
Yes, of course, I will take over. So I will start with the statement that migration is not only about taking data from one place and putting it into another. It's not a simple journey where you just host your data in a different place. It's about changing the rules. It's about changing the processes. And if you are not thinking about it as a transformation for your company, you are missing something, and this is really important piece of this puzzle. So I know that we've learned that really hard way with our customers, and I know that they lose a chance for changing the way they were operating. But still, maybe this is only about my market, where we are focused on lift and shift because it's the easiest option to move to the cloud. But I am a huge fan of everything which is going beyond that part when you are landing into the cloud.
All right, thank you, Kate. I think this is super important what you've mentioned. Let's see what Pascal will bring.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, so happy to be here, and thank you for having me. Well, I'm focused on the DACH region, so also in Germany mainly, and I can just tell from having led and experienced and sold and managed many of these transformations. Also, a couple of years earlier, when it came from server into DC, especially in Germany, the Betriebsrat and the Workers' Council and the DSGV and the legal team, they will kill your migration sooner than any technical obstacle can ever do. Make sure to have these stakeholders in the room early, involve them, reach out. This is extremely critical and crucial in Germany when it comes to having a successful cloud migration. So I think that's a inconvenient success factor that you definitely want to consider if you want to have a good and successful and risk-less transformation journey, especially I think in the DACH region. I'm sure Christoph can relate.
Yeah, so thank you, Pascal. Thank you for joining us and for sharing the word lesson. So Christoph, your perspective might be probably wider, if I suspect.
Yeah, so of course we've done a lot of migration work already with the smaller instances when data center ended, and now with the larger ones with the enterprise customers. But technical migration is often not the hardest part. It's the harder part is getting organizations to make decisions. Atlassian platforms, even most of the time enterprise environments, represent growth of many years. Maybe some old configurations, workflows, things that have grown over the years, and the migration will show that kind of complexity. And you will have to make many decisions. And my advice would be to not wait until the migration project to discover that nobody is ready to make those decisions. So we have to clarify ownership early to stay away from obvious problems in getting those decisions. So success depends on whether the organization is ready to decide what to do with the complexity that's currently in the data center installations.
Exactly. Yeah, the ownership. I hear that a lot in enterprises and startups. I think this is the one of the key factors deciding over the success of any task given. And Łukasz, what do you think?
Yes, so I would call something that personally, as also a long-time user of Atlassian tools, that is great about them, that you can customize, configure to your needs. And something that I learned the hard way in migrations is customers are doing fantastic things with their tools, but that complicates migrations often a lot. And I would say in European context, especially with compliance, regulatory requirements, that is becoming even more complicated. So that's something that makes it nuanced. So as much as I love how those customizations, and I'm constantly impressed how the tools are being configured and used, that can hit us hard in migrations, because this is something that needs to be thought through, handled, and is very unique for each customer.
Okay, I like the fact that Atlassian doesn't appreciate the complexity that the customers create. But you need to work with that, yes. Customers being creative, and
I would say I really appreciate that. Maybe from migration perspective, this is not the greatest things, but we need to work it out.
Yeah, we are doing our best. Yes. Okay, guys. Since we've got a 2:15, I think we will quicken things up, and we'll skip the second question, and we'll go straight to segment on the sales perspective. So this will go straight to you, Pascal. So let's continue with the customer and sales, because every cloud journey starts with a conversation started by account managers, just like yourself and Astrid. So you hear a lot of concerns probably at the very beginning. So what are the concerns? What are the objections even that the customers most often raise when they first consider cloud migration?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm more than happy to give you my, let's say, real life insights here. So I'm speaking to customers and to enterprise clients and SME clients who are planning, considering, or actually often also on the way to a cloud migration on a daily basis. And there are a couple of, let's say, themes and concerns that regularly show up. The interesting part, I think, is that compared to a couple of years ago, these obstacles and concerns, they haven't really changed. They just became more sophisticated. And I think that shows that clients are really becoming serious about the cloud. So, I mean, definitely the first point, the first topic that I almost always hear is we can't put our data on the cloud. We just can't. You know, we are regulated, we are in defense, we are in pharma, we are in life science, we are banking. We have too much IP, we can't do that. And that sounds like a real blocker, but it rarely is one. Because I think it says more that you haven't done the compliance work yet, right? So as I said at the beginning, you need to make sure that you properly understand what is the requirements in terms of your data protection, right? Have the right people in, validate those statements. It is a valid concern, but it's definitely a perceived risk, right? And you can work in it. You can make it more transparent. And if you do so, and if you do it with the help of a competent and experienced solution partner, this risk will be mitigated. And often you see that going forward, that this risk really gets, or concern, this negative feeling gets smaller, and people are more willing and more optimistic to put their data on the cloud and fully harvest and kind of use all of the amazing aspects that the cloud brings. So I think I guess the most important thing is not to become defensive on the cloud or about the cloud and the data. Instead, validate the concern and then position yourself internally as the person who understands how to navigate that compliance maze. And that can be done with a lot of external help, and there are amazing experts out there who can help you, and also other companies who might have already done that or are more advanced on their journey. So I think the data, we can't put our data risk is the biggest obstacle. I think another one is we have too many customizations, right? We've worked 5 years. You were talking to an Atlassian admin, and he's like, "I've worked so hard on making this work, and we have so many script runner scripts." And I mean, that's obviously something that we at Adaptivist often hear, and it's almost part of every customer conversation. But truth is that these customizations have been built without the, around the limits on data center. So if you think about the target picture, most of them are not even needed any longer, right? And there is a lot of help to migrate your scripts into the cloud. We have done the script runner migration suite. That is an AI-based tool that can help. But I think that's a really valid and good, let's say, objection that also needs to be sorted out. So understand where your apps are, understand where you are, and then see where your target picture in terms of a gap analysis looks like. And if you have a thorough and sophisticated look on it, you will often see that many of these things you don't need. And I would like to refer to what we have heard of the beginning, that it's a good call to action for a cleanup and a tidying up exercise. And I think that's what I always would recommend anyways. And then I think third but not least, and I will keep myself short here, is that cloud is too expensive, right? And the timing is not great, right? And I think you do need to understand that there is a sense of urgency, right? We do know that there is the end of life. We do know that there is Ascent running out. All of those amazing incentives by Atlassian are not going to be there forever. And every quarter that you wait and don't harvest and don't unlock the potential of AI and the teamwork graph is costing you money, right? So have an educated conversation with your CFO, build a TCO, a total cost of ownership model, build a business case, understand what the TCO of cloud is actually looking like, because often it's not that high as the data center one. And then you will have a better position to also justify a cloud migration from a commercial point of view. So I think, Yola, those are a couple of objections that I often hear, and some answers that I give to our clients.
Okay, thank you. I can definitely relate to the compliance, which comes first. And yesterday, we had a conversation with a client, and I was lucky to hear that we are prepared. Our applications are all Atlassian supported and certified, run on Atlassian. Maybe not all, but the ones which were at stake. So thank you for bringing this up, and thank you for sharing your perspective. And moving on, I think we've got the conversation about the sales. So let's imagine we've got the client on board, and there comes the conversation with the, as you said, decision makers. And we've got Kasia, who is our head of Atlassian services. So Kasia, you probably had a lot of conversations with people who need to decide and who need to actually ascertain that this is a good move. So what conversations should happen at the executive level, as you represent, before migration starts, but often happen too late even, or never?
So first of all, there are plenty of them. But I am really close to what Pascal said just a moment ago. And the really important piece for us is when we are talking to leadership, it's sometimes even during the sales process, is just get the answer, why are you migrated? Because when I hear that I am migrating only because I need to migrate, it's the most ridiculous answer I can get. Because if we don't know why we are doing that, what we want to gain because of the migration, the project will fail, or the adoption will fail. It's still about thinking that this is a change we need to do, but we need to gain something and build those ROI after the migration, because otherwise we are paying simply for doing some kind of the service for someone for us. We are changing one to another, but what for? So this is always the question I am asking to the leadership. So why are you migrating? What are your success criteria after that? What you want to gain? What you want to change with the way of working in your organization? And by answering that, I can hear that sometimes I have people who have really thought through that and they know what they want to achieve, and those projects will be successful. Otherwise, there will be plenty of problems. The migration will fail or will be postponed, or the adoption of the cloud will be not so fine at the end. There is also the conversation around how to gain that. What kind of the champions we do have in the organization, who they are, how they will be promoting the move to the cloud itself, what kind of the tools from the cloud portfolio they really need to have. So there are plenty of things we can think about when we step in from saying this is just a migration, but this is a transformation of your business. Just using the tools you already have in the organization. And the thing which is really close to my heart, but is typically Polish thing, is thinking that when we move to the cloud, the go live is the last part of the project. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a starting of the journey for us. And I've experienced that by myself when we as a company moved to the cloud. As most of the Polish people, we were on data center. Łukasz, hello. We love data centers still, but moving to the cloud and seeing that by myself and being able to find out what it's giving me as a person who is working in this tool, it's completely changing your mind and your perspective. So selling itself, it's really hard piece of the business, because you need to convince those people that they need to go to the cloud, but you need to build with them the trust what they will gain after. So that's from my side.
Okay, Kate. So I think you've touched upon the next question I wanted to ask about the human factors that companies underestimate, or maybe organizational factors that get into the way during cloud transformation. But you've touched upon that. So
I've touched that, but there is one thing I want to add in this area, because this is something which is already close to my heart recently. That customers are not thinking about the change management. They are not thinking about the end users. And if I am a person who used the technology tools for years, it can be easy for me to switch to the different tool. But there are plenty of people who are not ready for that, and we need to prepare them. And the change management piece is, for me, even more important than the technical part of the migration. But not every customer is aware of that and is thinking about that. And after the migration, we are landing in the new environment with people who don't know what to do and how to start working, because the Jira is simply was blue and is red right now, and sometimes this can even create a problem for people. So let's always think about not you as a person who can adjust to the change, but all those people in your organization and how they will take this change and how they will act after.
I think change management could be a separate topic for us.
Always.
part of how big and how complex it is, not only from the technical perspective, but mainly from the human perspective. And it's not only changing the colors, as you said, and there's a much deeper focus when we actually consider any change. And I cannot stop thinking about how this is actually connected with the real life. So find your why before going to the cloud, and consider the human factor along the way. So thank you, Kate, and we'll move smoothly to enterprise migrations because we've from that, and we've got because just like Kate, you work with complex enterprise customers. The cloud migration of those customers is rarely simple, as I can imagine. So can you tell us why does the classic... I think we've got background noise a little bit. All right. Why does the classic lift and shift approach often not work for large enterprises?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be careful here. So lift and shift is not wrong, but it's a kind of a natural and necessary starting point for many organizations. They want to reduce risk, they want predictability, and of course they have to make sure that critical business teams and critical processes continue working. But the problem is when lift and shift becomes the target picture. As we already discussed, people have in large instances have used the tool for quite some time, and if they move the instance just as it is, they also move complexity. And so the better question is not how do I move to the cloud as efficiently as possible and as quickly as possible, but what should remain unchanged and go to the cloud, and what do we need to improve deliberately on our way into the cloud? Because if you only migrate the state, you also migrate the current state problems, and so this would be a missed transformation opportunity, and that's yeah.
I like that. Like there is a missed opportunity in not checking what needs to be gotten rid of, right? So yeah. Stepping back, what should the real goal of cloud migration be for enterprises? Can you tell us? And what are organizations usually not prepared for?
Yeah, most of them are not prepared for day two. So they plan their migration and they are happy that they finished migration, but it's only the start of let's say, of a transformation or continuous improvement process where they start to use more and more of the new platform and benefit from new AI features, new platform apps, and all the new possibilities in the Atlassian Cloud platform or on the Atlassian Cloud platform.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's a valid case, I think. So thank you, Christoph. And we clearly move from technology to transformation during this conversation. So the last but not least speaker for today is Łukasz Halicki, our Atlassian expert. So Łukasz, you see a lot of migration patterns across many customers. So your perspective is very broad, and we are all curious about this. We would love to hear what Atlassian says, what Atlassian sees actually, and how you handle this transition. So first of all, what concerns do you hear most often, if there are any, that you've come across, and how do you address them? And what are the most common blockers you see in cloud migrations projects in Europe, from your perspective?
Yes. So in terms of like the concerns, I can nicely connect to what Pascal shared, and I would say that the two main ones is compliance and specific compliance and regulatory requirements that the customers have, and requirements towards that in terms of cloud features. That starts from storage, specific compliance certifications, also maybe not typical to Europe, but FedRAMP, or for example, isolated cloud, which is in the works currently. So those are the specific concerns that the customers have. Sometimes it goes into not even something is not there, but the customers are not aware that there is such an offering or such a capability on the cloud side. The second thing I would say is a concern is, as I told, customers are doing great things, complicated things with the tools, whether that's scripts, customizations, workflows, reports, boards, tons of it. They are afraid, and the concern is this will be broken, this will be lost, or for example, cloud is not offering that. I can say, like, being open, like very often it requires some rework, some rethinking. There is also an opportunity, as mentioned earlier by others, to clean up and fix things, because I think like a migration is a good provoking point to think about, like cleaning, archiving the some of the content and config that the users have. But although that might require like fixing or adjusting in the cloud side some effort, I think I don't recall cases where something was not possible. Maybe it requires different ways, maybe it requires some workarounds, but whether that's working together with Atlassian teams, with solution partners, or internally, that can be always worked through. But being fair, it requires some time, some effort, some investigation. Yeah, personally, I can say also that I'm currently in last 2 years, I'm very close to the assessment and preparation phase of migrations. So that is also something that requires effort, thinking through, and something that helps to address the concerns for the moment of migrating and for the moment of moving. I would say as simple, the more you plan, the more you prepare yourself, the better chances of your success. And this is a very, let's say, wide topic, I think.
I think so. Well, we are talking big enterprises. I can hear that in your words that Atlassian is most concerned about. So how can we imagine the way you can help us? I mean, because there are many operational issues and incidents during migrations. So how do you work with that? If you could just reveal.
Yeah. So the two things that I mentioned. So again, specific to my domain, the last 2 years, me and my team, and also some data center teams, we invested a lot in the assessment capabilities to help to understand the customer's data shape, to identify both things that can become limitations, risks during the migration, but also that might be resolved on the cloud side, because I think no one said this. Both products, Jira DC and Jira Cloud, they are named Jira, but they're a bit different. In terms of like how different, that is probably a topic for at least a half a day workshop. But although they are named the same, they're a bit different products, and that requires acknowledging. So I think that has been quite a big investment that we did in terms of like preparing for migration, because it's fair to say that years ago, Atlassian was offering mostly migration tooling. There was more hands-on support from our support teams in terms of like preparing for the migration. That has been expanded a lot in order to prepare, and we are still investing into that. Also, for example, looking into into app migrations, which is a very specific and very complex problem, also involving app vendors and other areas. The other is something that was also announced, and I'm like on purpose, I'm wearing my Fast Shift t-shirt today. So we announced also the Fast Shift program, which, although dedicated for the biggest enterprise customers, that is also intended to provide help for customers migrating directly from Atlassian, to provide some hands-on guidance, access to our engineering teams, and so on. I can say, for example, that Konrad, who is here together with me, he was just supporting one of the major European companies migration, which successfully migrated over this weekend as part of the program. So that I can confirm, and no advertisement. That works, that is ongoing, and that is also one of the things that Atlassian is offering for the enterprise customers.
All right. Okay, that's good to hear that you're prepared for anything that comes up. And I just wonder if you work over the weekends as well?
Yes. So also part of my job, Konrad's too, is we are holding a CAP which is called a major incident manager, which means that we are managing incidents over the weekend, migration related incidents. Something is stuck, something is blocked, something went wrong, something is taking time, and so on. So, and there is currently 30 of us. We are on rotations. We have the power to pull pretty much any engineer from any Atlassian team over the migration weekend and work together with the support in order to unblock customers. And obviously, since most of the migrations happen over the weekends, this is like when most of the action does happen, but there is such support. We have like on-calls among all the migration teams, among all the components, also on the cloud side. So this is like supported by our teams and memes constantly.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because Divinity is also prepared to, because all the big migrations happen over the weekend. The only thing we can see is like the bank is not working, it's not operating. But the real reason probably is that because they are migrating during that weekend as well. So, we can share the pain of working over the weekends, but let's say we can imagine the bright future for all those who go through it. And thank you for that. Thank you for your perspective, Łukasz, and thank you for sharing whatever you could with us. I think this is a unique opportunity for us to ask any questions, and Łukasz will decide whether he is allowed to answer, or Konrad will be, answering the questions. So, guys, if you are interested in learning more, you can use this moment. And I'm not only talking to our viewers, but also to you, Christoph, Pascal, and Kate. If you've got a unique chance of asking Łukasz some questions, but if you don't have any, I would like to ask you about the one advice that you would give companies starting large migrations today. And let's get back to the round where we start with Kate.
Hard question, and I am the first one, so I need to know the answer. But if I need to choose one, 3 times rethink why are you doing that, and then plan the project.
Okay, thank you. And then Pascal?
Wow, that's very, very hard to put it in one sentence, but I guess that's the nature of our job, right? Especially in sales. No, jokes aside, I think it would be, I think it's a very, very, very important opportunity and chance and point in time that shouldn't be just like dealt with without much attention. I think it would be, if I could have one advice to our clients or to any major enterprise here thinking about that, it's like, don't just migrate your old world and data into a new platform, right? Use this migration as the mandate to redesign and rethink how your teams actually work, because I think in reality you will never ever have this level of organizational attention, also executive buy-in again. So it's a very important and crucial point in time to really harvest and benefit a lot of business enhancements. And the narrative has shifted from, is the cloud safe and are we on cloud from an infrastructure point of view, but really on an, let's say, value add point of view in terms of AI. So that's, I think, the advice. Think about the why.
Wow, thank you for this. I really love the the connection to what Kate put, that we need to start with why and then do not treat it as a challenge, but as an opportunity.
It's a huge opportunity, absolutely.
I love it. I know, Christoph, it's getting harder for you to to answer.
Yeah.
Well, if you agree, we can also accept that.
Yeah. No, so just let me pick up where the others left off. So you don't only have to come up with a migration, with a plan for your migration, but also with a decision model for your transformation. So you have to decide what status is, what gets improved during the migration, and what goes into improvement after go live, and in continuous improvement. So it's about to decide what deserves to survive the transformation. And be prepared for being the transformation to the cloud, being only the first step, and be ready for the new features and the changes that AI will bring to the platform in coming years.
I love it. Continuous improvement is my individual motto of my life, so I really share it, and I no wonder why Comunardo has received the award for cloud solutioning platform. So thank you for your perspective, Christoph. It was unique again. So we've got 3 unique perspectives. Łukasz, the challenge is yours now.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
Yeah. So I will combine my Atlassian experience with the previous experience, because one of my previous experiences is like in a large pharma company. My team was managing a 20,000 users DC instance. You can check on my LinkedIn which company. But what I remember, and I will share it as a story, we were doing an audit of Atlassian footprint back then, also in terms of preparing for migration. And we discovered that within the company, there were 90 different Atlassian tool instances. Cloud, DC, different versions, different departments. That's because company was giving a lot of flexibility. But from cost perspective, from the footprint perspective, from the overall management perspective, that was a problem, and that was an opportunity to clean it up. So connecting that, my advice is understand your Atlassian footprint and how the tools are being used, because that will help you effectively migrating. I saw often customers, executives being surprised by yet additional instance because we did a merger and there is an additional instance on the cloud, and now we not only need to do a migration, but we also need to do a consolidation, or for example some critical business processes getting broken or impacted and migration delayed because some department built something really cool with the Atlassian tooling, but it got broken in the test migration, now needs to be figured out. So I think understanding the footprint, how the tools are being used, is absolutely crucial in order to effectively migrate, as well as treat it as an opportunity, for example, to consolidate and to simplify things.
Okay, thank you. Oh, wow, 90 tools. Oh, I can imagine the stress over the weekend. All right, guys, so let's get creative now. And the final question from my list is, just an intellectual exercise of, imagining the future of cloud. So how do you think the cloud will look like in the next 2 years, let's say? What will change? What are you hoping for? Or maybe you're pessimistic. Who would like to start? I'm not going to call out names here.
I can start if you want, if that's fine, because it's a very let's say it's a very big passionate topic of mine to kind of look into the future state of work, how we work, and it's very easy to always become a bit negative when you think about all of the things that are difficult and that we need to do, and about the hard things and about the obstacles. I think it's a very, very interesting and very positive imagination to think about how our working lives could be looking like, and being looking like on a day-to-day basis in 2 or 3 or 5 or even 10 years, giving the current, let's say, speed of innovation and the disruptional age that we are currently living in. I think it won't be about migrations anymore, right? I mean, we are approaching 2029, maybe for some highly regulated industries and then enterprises with maybe exceptions. But I think it's not about the if or when we want to migrate, it's all about agents and AI. It's all about thinking about how can we use the teamwork graph, right, to gain more context for our AI. How can we enable virtual teammates? I'm convinced we will have virtual teammates being provided on the cloud platform with Rovo, with all of the amazing features that we just saw at Team and that we are certainly going to see in the next months and years to come. So I think it's all about having a heavily AI-powered platform that companies can become creative with, and get rid of all of the tedious and boring tasks and really focus on how high output. And I think these companies who embrace a clean data set, a clear structure, a good database now with their migration, compared to the ones that are doing a lazy and very simple and low on budget lift and shift one. So referring to what Christoph, Kate, and also Lukas said, right, that more embrace the transformational character of it. They will equip and position best to make use of all of those features, and they will have a competitive edge, and they will be the ones winning the AI and the productivity race and serve their clients best. So I think that's what we are going to see, maybe not in 2 years, but going ahead.
I like the fact that you are an optimist. You need to be when you're in sales, right?
Absolutely, it definitely helps. Yeah, definitely helps.
Okay, and if anyone else would like to pitch in, Kate?
Yeah, I want to jump in because I am really close to what Pascal says, and the first thing which comes to my mind, what else the AI can do for me? And I know that I want to be more effective in what I am doing, and the AI capabilities, which we are seeing right now, they will grow. They will grow really fast, and if we can adapt to them, the sky is the limit. So, we just need to figure out how to use them and what else we can get. So this is always, I would say this is an open topic, not only for Atlassian, but almost every ecosystem right now. Because otherwise we will be stopping in where we are. So that the world is really fast and everything is developing really fast. We can't stop.
Okay, so let me just summarize what you said, because you said that one single thing, that you want to be more effective. And guys, you need to know this about Kate, that to my mind, she cannot be more effective. She's an active mother.
I always can.
Services, and just recently she ran half a marathon. So how can you be more effective? I don't know. Maybe AI will figure it out. So
I need a second me. That's why I need an AI. I need an agent of me.
All right. Okay. So maybe that's the future of cloud, that will give you that. So Christoph or Łukasz, who would like to go next?
Yeah, maybe. Go ahead, Lucas.
Okay, so I think in terms of the next 2 years, what I think in terms of transformation, also connecting to what Pascal and Kate told, but maybe I'll make it broader than just AI and LLMs. Also my observation is, in the past, something that was mentioned, the reasons why migrating, they were not always clear. Sometimes it was perceived as being forced. I think right now what is changing is that the reasons, whether this is AI, teamwork graph, or specific cloud offering features, is much more clear. So for me, in terms of this transformation, in terms of what are the opportunities, what are the drivers to actually do, what is this why that is pursuing, has become much more clear, much more transparent, much more obvious, simply. And this is something that I'm seeing all across the board, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we can trust what you are saying because you're representing Atlassian. So, all right. And Christoph, if you would like to pitch in with your?
Yeah, if today our customers are looking for a safe path to the cloud for the obvious reasons, and in the future they still need a framework of compliance, of security, and all the other things that large corporations need to make best use of the functionality and the new features in the cloud. And what they will need to develop to be most effective is continuous improvement and creating incremental value from experiments and having clear processes for using that let's say innovation steps in using the new platform.
All right. Yeah. Compliance is definitely something that we will, because this is the concern of the client. So definitely we are hoping that something will be done just to make sure the client trust the change and they feel secure in the new environment. But what I hear is this is something that Atlassian is working on. Łukasz, you can nod your head extensively.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not only about technology; it's also about the processes inside the organization and innovation spirit and the spirit of continuous improvement.
Yeah, I love the continuous improvement idea. This is really close to my heart. And what's also close to my heart is the promise I made at the very beginning is that we've got a Q&A session. So if there are any questions unanswered here, do we have any? I cannot see any. Oh yeah, Sasha. Regarding concerns of the customers, no one ever mentions the loss of control over the UI. So yeah, I experienced this myself. I was like a little bit lost when we changed from DC to the cloud. But then again, I was I'm in the new room, more elegant, more sophisticated even. This was my personal impression. But the loss of control over the UI. Is this really a concern for you guys? Who would like to answer that?
Well, if no one answers, I can just quickly share my take on it. So, because I think objections and concerns have been was covered in what I said and earlier, and then also Lucas. So maybe Lucas can add if I'm missing out. This definitely is a concern, right? It's just not one of the major ones, and it, in my, let's say, experience, I think the features and the developments by Atlassian being shipped to the cloud, they outweigh the actual flexibility in terms of being in control of your UI, right? So that's what I often see, and obviously it's an adaptation, it's a change, yes. And for one person it might be a bigger impact, for the other person might be just as a side note. It is an impact, but I think the benefits outweigh the disadvantages or the things that you have to give up. That's my practical point of view.
I can add to that, like also my own perspective, because I'm personally getting the changes to the UI even ahead of you, and even getting some experimental changes because we are dogfooding our own food. So, for example, when I'm joining daily stand-ups with my team, very often, and we are using obviously Jira for planning our work, for driving our work, and so on. We are often seeing ourselves new features. Some of those features don't land on production in the end, so we never know what will there. But I think what I wanted to say is that the perception of those changes is, to what Pascal told, is like very individual, and this is part of the, let's say, the transformation, how the products work, the DC product versus cloud product, and how much control you have over it. That you simply need to adapt and adjust. I would say happily The changes typically are not drastic, and those, let's say, big changes are typically announced by Atlassian and communicated, but smaller changes are constantly happening, and it's like just part of the cloud as a product. I would say similar to coming back to AIs, the models keep changing and no one is asking for us about like them changing and improving.
Unfortunately, yeah. Okay,
I know
guys.
we are almost out of time, but there is one more question, maybe a tricky question in our Q&A section. So taking into consideration the migration that you have already done, is there any of them, or in any of those cases, would you do something differently in other way? Any experiences in what you already did? So the processes that have been, and they were successful, hopefully all of them, but maybe looking from the perspective, you would do something differently regarding this particular
I think we've got 1 minute to nod our heads. I mean, you guys, you nod your heads, confirming that this case happened, or shake your head like that.
I can maybe give you one sentence. I think it would be not realistic now to say, oh, we wouldn't change things. I think everyone in this room, certainly, as I do know my peers, and they are doing excellent work at Divinity and Comunado, but also us. I think this is the good thing about having a partner, to have this experience, to have this expertise, not only from one project, but from many, many, many dozens and hundreds, right? So I think that's the biggest value of having a competent and good partner in that. So I think these things, those pitfalls can be avoided with a different customer, because your partner already knows them and knows what might have been difficult for other companies in the past.
Yeah, but we cannot change things in the past. We can only move forward. So that's why we are meeting here and learning how are the things done around European solution partners. And I know we are running out of time. So I wanted to wrap things up by thanking you all, and whichever questions have not been answered on chat, we will answer them directly. I'm looking at you, James. And I wanted to invite you to our next event, since we focus the European perspective. Today, we are going to have an A session focused on the US perspective. If me and Ola will work hard enough to make it happen. So you are all more than invited to join us in September. We will just let you know on LinkedIn and via emails. So thanks everyone for joining in. I love your perspectives, and I will keep my fingers crossed for all the future migrations that you will need to cover.
Thank you very much. Take
Thank
care.
you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.